Did you know that dolphins with armor once existed? Or what about an ender dragon in the overworld? Today we're gonna look at 25 interesting things that were removed from Minecraft. Number 1. The worst enchantment of all time is called chopping. In the past, you could have gotten it from the toolsmith villager. However, there is one issue. It didn't do anything. Chopping was later renamed to cleaving, which was also useless. It was once possible to place water and lava next to each other. Looking at this today feels illegal. Even Notch realized it doesn't make any sense and he quickly fixed it. But some players still figured out a way to make these two liquids touch. Before the 1.8 update, you could obtain 6-sided pistons. So how do you get one of these, Dadusak? The answer is block transmutation. Don't worry, I also have no idea what that means. All you have to know is that this method was used to create invalid blocks. What if you could have an ender dragon in the overworld? I remember when I was a kid, someone told me that the dragon can escape and destroy your entire world. And I'll be honest, I believed it. However, in the newest April Fool's update, Mojang made this myth into a reality. Flying the ender dragon is pretty cool, but we're just getting started. Number 5. Some mobs used to be way faster. During the 1.16 development, both hoglins and piglins that spawned inside of the bastions were twice as fast. But there is still one mob that would leave them in the dust, but more on that later. The piglins could even outrun the fast vindicators that spawn in every raid. But you know what's better than a Minecraft raid? An entire game with insane graphics and 600 champions. I'm of course talking about Raid Shadow Legends. Raid has an impressive variety of bosses. My favorite is the Red Dragon. No, not that Red Dragon. This Red Dragon. His name is Hellraiser and he's cooler than all the dragons from Game of Thrones combined. He has two main tricks, Terrible Breath and a host of debuffs. Every few turns, Hellraiser will use his skill, where he rears up and prepares to breathe on you. There is a ton of exciting things happening in Raid this month, because they're adding 5 new champions. On top of that, Raid's running a huge series of Summer Splash events, where you can get your hands on skins for everyone's favorite dwarf, Trunda Guildmallet. Oh, and one more thing. Something really huge and long awaited is about to happen. Literally, there's never been a better time to get started. So, if you're a new player, use my link or scan the QR code and get a special free starter pack worth $30 with a bunch of sick in-game loot and a free champion called Tyrell. Now back to the video. This one mob was so fast that it broke Minecraft. In the 3D shareware version, there is a hidden feature that spawns the God Horse. It always has diamond armor and 200 HP. This horse is insane. It's capable of reaching speeds of 126 blocks per second and of jumping 34 blocks into the air. What's the best place to hide your items? Inside of a furnace? What about a minecart in a wall? Or maybe a secret base in the sky? All of these methods are for casuals. Real gamers use the void. During the development of 1.13, item frames could be placed below Y0, which is underneath the bedrock. You might remember that in my 1.18 video, I talked about bundles. This item was basically the budget version of a shulker box. So, what happened to them? Well, Mojang said they didn't feel that bundles were good enough. But maybe there's still hope for bundles, because they even appeared in the 1 block at a time update, although they had a roughly 1 in 1 million drop chance. Multi-shot is one of the strongest enchants in the game, but let's be honest, shooting 3 arrows is kinda lame. How about shooting 100 arrows at once? Well, in the 3D shareware update, you could find crossbows with multi-shot as high as level 12. That sounds like something Rambo would use. Don't get too excited though, because this was an incredibly rare villager trait, only having a 0.14% chance. Number 10. This is the worst arrow type in all of Minecraft. It's called the Arrow of Luck, and you can find it in 1.14 snapshot. You might be confused what luck even does. It improves your chances of getting great loot, whether that's from fishing or from chests. There's also an effect called Bad Luck, which does the exact opposite. The smallest mob caused one of the biggest Minecraft controversies. Mojang promised fireflies, but when the 1.19 update was released, there were no fireflies to be found. This drove the community nuts. What excuse is Mojang gonna have this time? Apparently, fireflies are poisonous to frogs, so they absolutely had to get rid of them. Well, now frogs eat slimes and magma cubes. There is one mob that I bet you haven't heard about. Instead of a zombie, this chicken jockey has a villager. But Dadusak, villagers can't spawn on chickens. You're right, they can't. But we don't need them to. All we need is a chicken jockey with a baby zombie villager, which we can cure. Once the villager grows up, he will function entirely like a regular villager. Except he won't have the ability to sleep. Welcome to hell, buddy. What if I told you that 4 years ago there was a mob that could wear armor, but it definitely wasn't supposed to? I'm talking about the dolphin. When dolphins were first introduced, they had the ability to pick up items. This meant that if you dropped an armor piece, the dolphin would simply equip it. It even worked with a shield. Unfortunately, since this was a bug, none of the armor would display on the dolphin. There have been hundreds, if not thousands of things removed from MC, but perhaps the biggest removal was an entire game. Minecraft Earth was released in 2019 and it made use of augmented reality. Let's be honest, Mojang saw the success of Pokemon Go and wanted a piece of the pie, but it turns out not every pie tastes good, because in June of 2021, Mojang stopped working on the game. Number 15. What's the biggest animal that can fit in a boat? The Minecraft boat has a hard-coded limit, which doesn't allow large mobs to enter the boat. However, this wasn't always the case. At first, there was no such limit, which meant even the largest of mobs could hop in. Having the Ender Dragon in a boat would be sick. However, it's still nothing compared to the things later in the video. The strongest weapon in Minecraft is a sign. In 2013, Notch released a troll update that added battle signs. These signs spawned with a random sword enchantment. So, if you got a sign with sharpness 5, you now have the most OP weapon ever, due to signs having a much shorter attack cooldown than swords or axes. If you play on this snapshot and you trade with a farmer, you will get scammed. This trade was originally supposed to be a cake. However, due to a bug, the game did not generate a sell item. Thus, the villager will sell you air. I have to warn you though, there is a high chance this will crash your PC. Villagers are becoming inspired from these eagles. It's only a matter of time before the Fletcher starts selling his bathwater. There are some tricks that can cause these mobs to have no weapons. Let's take the skeleton for example. The easiest way to get him is loading skeletons from versions before 1.3 and updating them. A skeleton without a bow is more useless than a cave update without caves. You can also make axeless vindicators, swordless piglins, empty-handed wither skeletons, and much more. The 1.19 update was full of empty promises. However, I'd say the worst decision of all was the removal of gamma. For the longest time, you could increase your brightness by changing this number. For many people, the default brightness simply isn't enough. That's why removing gamma is literally a giant middle finger to us, the players, and especially the content creators. Number 20. Have you ever seen a glowing Enderman? An Enderman cannot be hit with an arrow. He will just dodge it like Neo in the Matrix. But not that long ago, you could give Enderman the glowing effect by shooting them with spectral arrows. The Enderman teleported away and didn't take any damage. However, the game still made him glow. And if you wanna make me glow, then please subscribe. It's absolutely free. There's about 500 of these splash texts. Some of them are Easter eggs, others just dumb jokes. However, recently, Mojang secretly removed 30 splashes from Minecraft. But Dadusak, what was the reason? Well, there are a few. Most of them were removed to avoid future controversy and legal issues. But some were deleted without any explanation. This is a stationary projectile, and it can be an arrow, a ghast fireball, or an ender pearl. By unloading the chunks of the projectile when closing the world, the arrow gets stuck in midair. However, this method is a bit outdated. The new method works by setting the player's position to exactly where the projectile will appear, which will make it stationary. Let's go back to 2013, to one of the most brutal updates. In this version, every now and then, a group of hostile mobs appears. Then, a lightning strikes them, and they all receive enchanted armor and weapons. 25% of them will also have wool on their head. This is the only way to get wool-headed mobs in Minecraft. Imagine having a curse that cannot be broken. That's exactly the case with the cursed pumpkin. A pumpkin is the only block in Minecraft that you can wear on your head. And if you give it both of the curses, it's literally impossible to take it off. The only option left is dying. That has to be the worst way to lose your hardcore world. Number 25. You can craft your own end crystal, but those are lame, as they don't have the beam. So how do you get the beaming end crystal? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Place 4 end crystals to resummon the ender dragon, but exit the world before the dragon spawns. Once you log back in, you'll have an indestructible end crystal on every pillar. Guys, if you like my videos, then please subscribe. It makes a big difference.